What's up, man? How you been?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Yeah, we've been talking about you on the show, man.
Yeah, I know. I saw the. I watched the whole thing,
Yeah,
which I
yeah,
usually tend to do with podcasts. Like podcasts are the only thing I can actually watch all the way through.
yeah,
But yeah, I was like, oh, yep, we're definitely going to be talking about that next podcast.
yeah, for sure. Let's just jump right into it. If you're comfortable with it, you want to just kind of list everything that you're doing right now, experimentation wise.
Yeah, let me pull up my spreadsheet just so I can remember
Okay.
everything right.
And if you want, I can share my screen and I can show like the most recent update you sent in the group chat
Oh
over
yeah,
there.
yeah, sounds good.
All right, I'll do that.
Yeah, I keep everything on a spreadsheet.
Let's see here. Should be under check-ins. Yep, there we go. And I'm sharing my screen to you as well, so you should be able to see it. So is this all still pretty current?
Let me get on it. Yep. Yep.
Okay.
That was about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Or maybe that was this week. Yeah, that was this week. Yeah, so
You got them.
pretty
You got them walnut cheeks coming in, man.
yeah, no, it's just like every time I look at my I don't feel that I don't feel as lean as I look,
I'm
which
the
is
opposite
weird.
way. I'm the opposite way. I feel like I'm on
Yeah.
death's door on anything below like 10% body fat.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's like I honestly don't feel that lean, and it's interesting, but
Maybe the SLU
yeah,
has something to do with that.
that's what I'm thinking. Like that's
And your growth
like
was at
I kind of
your growth was at 8, right?
yeah,
So you
yep. I
should
finally
you're probably
finally
recovering really well too. So I'm sure that's a part of it.
yeah. I mean, yeah, that's definitely part of it. I mean, I just went up to 8 last week, so but
So
yeah,
how's
man.
that been? Because you had been doing 5 for a while, right?
Yeah,
So
mhm.
what have you
Yeah.
noticed? I know it's a little short to actually like, notice too much, but have you noticed anything from making that change?
Just more fullness overall. Like
Hmm.
I don't really get the side effects of like super bad water retention or anything.
Well, you've
Like
also
sometimes,
titrated up too, because you didn't jump straight to 8, right? I think I saw you had gone to like 6 or 7 or something, and then you went to 8.
yeah, I went up to 7 and then I went up to 8,
Yeah,
or I like 6.5 or something like that to
yeah.
8.
So you're not jumping from like 4 to 6 to 8 or 4 to 8 or anything like that.
Mhm.
So that makes
Yeah.
sense that you wouldn't get as bad side effects.
Fun story. When I first hopped on growth, I did 5 immediately,
Yeah, I did
and
6 immediately.
oh yeah, yeah. So you know what happens with that, but
Well, I got a side effect a lot of people don't report, except for whatever reason, old school guys coming up in like the early 2000s, late 90s, they've had a similar experience. But for me, when I initially started it, and I've not had this happen since, my resting heart rate jacked up a ton, like
oh
10,
yeah, I
like
remember
10,
you
20
talking
points.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. I think it was maybe just a combination of like the blood pressure, but I was checking my blood pressure 3 times a week and it was fine. So I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it was just the overall water retention, just like
Yeah.
screwing
And
something
like
up.
I would bend down and it would feel like my hamstrings were going to tear off the bone just from how tight
Mhm.
my legs were. So I'm sure there's a
Yeah,
bunch of swelling there.
yeah, just tons of swelling, just overall, like systemically.
Yeah.
So,
And you're
I mean, that's
also
the
in a
only thing I can think
deficit
of.
too. You're in a deficit too. And I think we get a lot less of the water retentive side effects from growth in a deficit.
That's true. Yeah, I
My
mean,
thought
especially,
process is I keep cutting you off. I'm sorry,
no, no,
but with me, I'm doing 8 right now as well. I don't really think I'm gonna try to take it any higher until a contest prep. I think when contest prep comes around, I might venture into like 10.
hmm yeah, that's what I think. Like, especially when when you have food and you're like actually trying to grow, like I don't think you need as much overall growth hormone during that kind of period. And especially when you're adding on body fat too, like you don't want to gain body fat and up your growth.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say like if I had to pick which one is like more useful, high dose in a cut or high dose in a bulk, I'd think in the bulk it actually would be more useful. But the problem is, I just don't think most people are going to be able to do it. in reality. Because in an off
Yeah.
season, we're already water retentive. We're already probably borderline on the blood sugar, blood pressure, stuff like that. So going higher on the growth, most people just aren't going to be able to handle it unless they take a bunch of other drugs to counteract that.
Yeah, and you also have to think like, do you have the right amount of estrogen to be able to convert the growth hormone into IGF? So
Oh,
that's also
I definitely do.
yeah.
I definitely do it a gram test.
What was your estrogen at last time you or
The, la-
estradiol?
the last time I checked on a gram test and half a gram of MAST, it was like 200.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
now on a gram test and 600 EQ, I'm sure it's a good bit lower from the EQ. And I'm on a Arimidex now, 2 mgs a week.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm sure it's not
Yeah.
that bad. But like
Yeah.
I'm on
Well,
week five. I think I'm on week 5. Yeah. Start of week 5 was this past Saturday. So the test and EQ are definitely starting to peak because I noticed a little bit of acne flare up. Skin feels a little oily, stuff like that. Just going to have to do some extra personal care hygiene, which is annoying, but not the end of the world.
yeah, I know. Like, thank God I have a girlfriend because like the skincare routine that she's got me on is saving my life.
Yeah, I mean, thank God I have a wife just because I literally can't wash my back.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like it's not happening. I mean, and shaving too. Nah, man, not
Yeah.
happening.
It's like, unless like I think the brushes are gross, so I don't use them. Like I feel
Yeah,
gross if I could use a brush.
yeah.
So
It's just too
yeah.
awkward. I could never get into that. But
Yeah.
so I would say 8. There are people that will say eight's not that much. To me, 8 units of growth is a good amount. Like
I
I
think
think I
it's
think 8 to
decent.
10 is I consider 8 to 10 a high dose personally.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
if you hear a lot of like open pros talking, they typically describe the sweet spot as being 8 to 10.
Yeah, like they said like most of them are like, yeah, like over 10 or
Yeah.
like 12, like just the side effects and like you don't notice anything more. So
Yeah.
like why would you use more and get less out of it?
Yeah. And then that's the thing. In a contest prep, you're probably going to avoid a lot of those side effects. So that's the reason.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, you can use a higher amount, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I consider it a decent amount. Like 8 to 10 would be high. I would say anything past 10 is like almost ludicrous, honestly.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
in most brands, that's more than a vial a day. That's insane.
No, yeah, I can't even think of a brand that would yeah, I guess there are a few, but
I mean, you can
uh,
get like 24s and stuff like that, but like
yeah,
most is standard going to be like somewhere between 10 to 15,
yeah. Mhm.
something like that. But so you're getting what I was getting at there is your growth. I would consider that high dose, and I would consider the SLU high dose. But everything else is still pretty moderate, isn't it? Like with the
Yep,
test and
yep,
mass.
yeah, Tess is at 350, Mass is at 275 right now, and I'm taking Retta 6 milligrams and then
Oh,
MT.
I didn't see that.
Oh yeah,
6.
yeah. No, like I am just I have crazy
Bro, how are you
like
eating?
normal.
Well, so here's the thing. I wonder. So they don't say that SLU causes an increase in appetite,
I
but
think
at
I think it does.
150 milligrams, it has to.
Yeah, like I would feel like I mean like if it does like what the research actually says it does, it mimics exercise. And what does
Which
exercise do? It makes you
increased
burn
appetite.
calories, which increases appetite. So
Yeah.
I would imagine so. So that's why like I started off at two milligrams, and I noticed it like the cravings were gone and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And then I kept bumping it up as I got used to that dose, and
So how
then
long does it take you to
I
feel a dose of Retta?
like the next day. Like
Bro,
I don't feel it immediately.
for me, and
Yeah.
to be fair, with the lower you take, the more this is going to be true. The more you take, the quicker you're going to feel it. Dude, it takes me like 4 to 6 weeks to notice a change in my Retta dose.
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
like 3
yeah,
at the
maybe
least.
maybe like full effect, maybe like a week or two,
Mhm.
but like like the next day I do notice it's like like something's different.
Now, what if I were to take like, let's say I miss a day and I have to double up one day, yeah, I will feel that. But I'm talking about like the actual dose building up and peaking. I feel like that takes like 4 weeks.
Hmm.
At least
Yeah,
it's been
I've heard other people talk about it. Like I haven't seen any graphs or anything about it yet. So
Mhm.
maybe that's probably something I'll look into next. But
Yeah. So you're
yeah,
going a little aggressive on the SLU growth and Retta, but everything else is
I don't
moderate.
think we've talked about how much I'm on. Well, I guess you talked last podcast, but
Yeah.
yeah, right now on my upper and off days, it's 150 milligrams, not micrograms, milligrams,
Yeah.
and then on my leg days, it's 200 milligrams.
Jeez. And you have 1 or 2 leg days. I'm guessing 2.
2 a week. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Wow.
So,
First of all, the first thing that I would assume everybody who knows what this stuff is going to ask, how much is this costing you?
like honestly, not terribly, just due to the where I got
Bulk,
it.
the bulk nature, yeah. But so,
Yeah.
like for an example, what do you think like a weekly rundown is going to be cost wise for your situation? Not most
So
people, your situation.
it's it's a so it's 3 pills for the off and upper, and then 4 for the leg day.
Hmm.
I don't know. Maybe if my math is right, maybe like 10, $15 a week.
That's it.
Yeah.
We'll talk after this.
Okay. I'll have to like
Okay.
actually do math. I'm terrible
Yeah,
at
yeah.
mental math.
Still, even if you're off by 10, I was assuming you're going to say like $100 a week
No.
at least.
I mean,
Because I think for example, the only place that I've seen that has super high dose SLU is Bio Longevity Labs, and their shit's like 250 a bottle.
yeah, no.
And
Yeah,
I've not looked into it too much, so I don't know like how long that lasts or whatever, or how many capsules. Maybe it's like 300 capsules for all I know. But I've seen
I think
ludicrous
theirs are
prices.
6. Yeah, no, mine were 60 capsules for 100. So,
Wow.
but I also got it on like some holiday deal, so
Okay.
maybe I got like a really good price.
But
But
I mean, man, even if you paid like half of what you normally would pay, which would be an insane discount, that's still crazy. I'm very surprised by that.
yeah, and like I'm pretty like we never really truly 100% know unless we get
Yeah,
it tested ourselves if it's real. But from the effects that
you would
I've
know. Yeah.
seen, I think I got good stuff.
And even if it's underdosed by half, you're still taking a fuckload.
Just
So,
yeah, it's still a good bet. So it's just like yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it was funny. One of my friends, he got one of his vials tested, and it was like it was the same compound, but it was just 100 less. And I was
Uh,
like, you still got scammed, but you
yeah.
can like just double up, I guess. But it still sucks.
Yeah. It's very rare that nowadays you're going to get absolutely nothing. It's like you're
Mm,
probably going to get something. It may just not be exactly right, which is
yeah,
unfortunate, but a
like
whole lot
especially
better than stories I've heard for the
yeah,
past.
like EQ. I mean, mask getting switched with EQ and stuff like that. Like I've heard
I
that.
honestly, you know what? Devil's advocate. If someone's source is swapping their mass with their EQ, they're probably doing them a favor. If like this milligram to milligram, like if it's 100 of the EQ for 100, like they're doing them a favor. Honestly, the EQ will give you more results. I'm honestly convinced that I don't even really think. Do you think EQ causes water retention at all?
Not that I've seen or heard.
Because my thought process is it has metabolites that are anti-estrogens. So I
Yeah,
would assume if anything,
I
it
mean, it lowers
dries you out.
estrogen, air dry. Yeah, yeah,
So
that makes sense.
I think we're going to see a trend of people completely abandoning the DHTs and going for like EQ or DHP.
Yeah, I just threw in mass because I was like, let's just see what happens. So
Yeah. I mean, it's great. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just,
there's nothing wrong with it, but I see where you're coming because like
yeah.
it turns out that Mastron isn't a AI of sorts.
And for me,
So
it's not personally because, like I
yeah,
said, on 500 and 1,000, I had 200, E2.
hmm
So,
so
and for me personally, I just don't really, looking back at it, I never realized because I had never really ran Masteron in like a growth context, but that's what I did my 16-week rebound on was various levels of test of Masteron. And I don't really feel that good on Masteron. It kind of makes me agitated. It dries my joints out a good bit. I just don't feel great. It's not something I could see myself running in an off season anymore. EQ, awesome. I've noticed as of late I get a little bit of an anxiety increase, but
mm,
that's how I am naturally. I have anxiety naturally anyways. So it's just like I already know how to deal with that. I just have to be present and be
he just goes.
aware.
Yeah,
Yeah. I just have to be like, okay, this is a little bit elevated than how I would normally feel. Just remember, calm down, you're fine.
I'm on drugs.
Yeah,
I'm on drugs.
basically.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
Good
like you
thing.
kind of have to do the same thing with trend too. You have to know you're going to be a little bit on edge, and you just, you don't let it control you. You have to think about every action. You can't just do. You have to think.
Yeah, people always ask me, it's like, dude, are you just like raging all the time and stuff like that? I was like, it's not gonna like in many few cases it's gonna turn a rational normal person into some crazy monster.
No.
And if they're a crazy monster beforehand, of course they're gonna be freaking crazy on
Yeah.
this kind of compounds. And like I've always naturally been somewhat of an angry person,
Same.
but like it's just like I'm that's why I'm so chill now because
Yeah.
like I know
You know
that
how to
I
deal with
have
it.
yeah, I know how to deal with it. So it's just like even like I'll just be like, okay, everything's okay.
Yeah.
I'm just angry for no reason.
You just have to be conscious of it, and I mean, I'm sure some people have it worse than us, so they can't just simply do that. But for me, that's what it's always come down to: is you just have to think, and you have to think more.
Yeah,
But
you
I
have
had
to think
never,
through more.
yes, yeah, I had never run master on an off-season context, but I have run trend in an off-season context before, and I actually feel worse on master. Which, to be fair, you're talking about like 100 trend a week versus 500 master weeks. There's a bit of a difference there, but
Yeah,
on the low dose trend, barely any side effects, nothing
that
really.
I've heard a lot of people talking about that is taking that low dose of tren in the off season and like feeling
Yeah.
amazing and not really noticing any crazy negative side effects, especially when using Treni.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, the only thing I would be afraid of, or not even afraid of, weary of, I guess, the potential, what's the word for it? Brain. It's not
oh,
brain damage. Neurotoxicity.
neurotoxicity. Yep.
Yeah, neurotoxicity. But, you have that with 19 Nors in general, so you're going to have that problem with DECA as well.
Yeah,
So,
MPP. Yeah.
yeah,
So
which,
it's like
which fun fact, I think I've maybe done that once, like when I first started, and it was probably fake. So I'm hoping maybe we sprinkle in a little bit of MPP here in this offseason at some
yeah,
point.
I'm trying to decide. Like, I'm definitely gonna up my tests and mass to a pretty good amount, but I'm either deciding like it really depends where my estradiol's at. But like,
Hmm.
if I'm gonna do MPP or EQ, so I'm interested to see. But
Bang for your buck, EQ all day.
that's what I've heard people say. So
Yeah, and the thing is too
I
with MPP, you're only going to be able to take it. So honestly, I'd say now, have you run either before?
no, no.
Okay, so that's the thing. If you've never run them before, I would pick one. But if this was someone who had run both at separate times, I would say just run them together. Like instead of doing 600 EQ, I would say do like 150 MPP and then like 300 EQ, something like that,
Yeah.
even 200, honestly.
Yeah, it's yeah, that's the plan is like I already have the compounds in that I know how it affects me, so I'll
Yeah.
just do one at a time and then see how everything's at. And
Yeah,
then
and
I'll
even that
probably
being said, even that being said, like typically you don't want to do that because different things have different side effect profiles. But with EQ and MPP, it's kind of like any side effects, at least estrogen wise, that you would get from the MPP. You'd kind of almost be fixing with the EQ. So there is a case there to where you could argue just run both, even if you haven't before. But it's definitely the more intelligent decision to just pick one. Have you ever run Primo before?
no,
Okay,
I
same.
haven't had the finances to be able to do
I don't
that.
think I don't think anybody does. It's
And
just
I, and like
even if they do, there's no reason.
I don't trust Primo yet,
Yeah,
like for it to be real.
I've
So
I've never
I'm gonna
trusted it.
I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait on it.
Yeah, well, what I was getting at is I think as the kids say, I think it's fucking vaulted. I don't think there's any reason to run Primo anymore. EQ does everything it does and more.
I always kind of felt like I didn't know, but I always kind of felt that it was just like way overhyped. I don't know.
Any compound that you have to run a gram of to feel is shit.
Yeah, I legit. Yeah,
Yeah, like
it's
and,
like
and
that.
people used to say that about EQ,
Mm,
but people didn't realize how bad they were bottoming out their estrogen by doing that. So now
mm,
we've come to understanding. Okay, 600 for EQ is not a minimum. It's honestly probably close to the max. I would say six to nine, 6 to a gram, something like that. Um,
mm.
it for me, based on what I've seen, if you're taking a gram of test, 600 EQ is going to more than manage that estrogen. Completely
Yeah,
honest.
I haven't heard of any. really anybody going over a gram of EQ.
Well, I've
So
heard of it, and like back in the day, for example, Lee Haney. This is back when they would do like they didn't really know what they were doing in terms of pharmacology. He would do nothing but EQ. So he'd do like
wow,
2 grams of EQ or a gram of EQ, something like that.
estradiol at 2.
Probably, yeah, but who knows? Maybe at that
Yeah,
point it creates enough DHP. Well, DHP is an estrogen. Yeah, that would just not be fun. You'd just be completely bottomed out on your estrogen. Because with the
yeah.
nandrolone, you're going to create enough DHN to provide some type of conversion there to where you'll feel
Some
okay.
kind of conversion. Yeah. So
I've
yeah,
never
especially
understood why people want to do that in the modern era, man. Like DECA
no,
only. It just makes no sense.
no, yeah, it's just like it's okay benefits to really not good side effects.
Yeah, and I feel that same way about the kind of safer use model shit we see, where you have guys running a TRT dose of test and then 2 grams of mass. How the fuck is
Yeah,
that safer use? My cholesterol would be just obliterated.
I know. Just like joints are gone.
Oh god,
Can't
dude,
live.
my joints.
Arthritic by 30.
Yeah, man, my joints like really only started to kind of heal up. I was starting to get just some bangs and twinges here and there, basically just from staying lean for too long for the most part post show because I stayed. I felt like I kept getting leaner up until about the 12 weeks post show mark, but gaining
Wow.
weight. Like
Yeah.
from 195 to 215, I almost got leaner in most of my body parts except for like I think I had like one extra skin fold under my glutes. That was it. But I already didn't have big glutes to begin with, so it's that tricky thing.
I would see that going for 6 weeks, but I can imagine
Yeah.
12 weeks.
Well, the thing is, I think we were only gonna do like 8 to 10, and then I had a coaching change, and I felt really good. And I had just started Retta and SLU. I started at 200 micrograms, by the way, on SLU. So I just started all that stuff. So I was like, all right, people are saying the only blood work issue I ever have is cholesterol, HDL specifically. All my other cholesterols are fine. It's just HDL. People are saying that Retta and SLU both help with cholesterol. Let's put that to the test. Let's just finish this out to either a 12 or a 16 week or whatever. And then I make that coaching switch with Joe. So we both come to that decision and just finish out the rebound, 16 weeks, do a 7, I think it ended up being a 7-week cruise. And then now we're on to the main blast about 5 weeks into that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with your experience here on so how many weeks in general do you think you've been doing high dose SLU, which I would consider anything above like anything into the milligram territory at all?
Um, about 4 weeks now, I would say
Okay.
4 or 5 weeks. So I've
So it's
been running it.
definitely,
Yeah, I just wanted to finish off the cut and
yeah.
get ready to start building. But and also within the 4 weeks, out of the 4 weeks, I've traveled 3 weekends.
Yep.
So it's just like, okay, I'm just gonna because I'll have the food in me because I went to one of my friend's first bodybuilding competitions, and of course afterwards we messed up some all you can eat sushi. And
Yeah.
then one of the weekends was the Carolina Ren Fair, which I enjoyed the Ren Fair foods.
All right.
So
So I'm making a timestamp because this is where we're going to kind of really dive into your experiences with SLU. So overall, just kind of break down the differences you've noticed going from that low end of the territory to the super, super high end. And what's
yeah,
that time
the
look like?
main thing, like I've never really noticed like any kind of like heart rate increase or any
Hmm.
negative side effects at all.
Wow.
What I have noticed is with the very, it's just like 1 or 2 days I'm pretty off diet, but um, getting back to it during the actual week when I'm not on vacation or out of town, I've just like noticed this really good, still like consistent leanness like happening. Like I haven't had a weight drop at all, but just more conditioning overall. I've noticed
So
like my weight.
what's your cardio look like, by the way? I think that's one thing we forgot to mention.
So during those, so back, so about I stopped this about 4 weeks ago when I got back from Ren Fair, but it was 15,000 steps a day. Like
Okay.
I've always been a steps guy,
Yeah.
but after the Ren Fair, because I also took a deload week
Mhm.
um, leading up to the Carolina Ren Fair. So when I got back, it's 10,000 steps on legs, 12,500 on upper days and then
Mhm.
15,000 on off days just to help fatigue management.
Okay, so no machine cardio.
No,
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
I can't stand it.
Yeah, yeah,
I
that's fair.
my first prep ruined it for me.
Mm.
So,
Yeah,
uh,
my first prep I was doing, I don't remember the exact number, but I know it was north of an hour and a half, 2 hours a day on stairs.
mhm,
Yeah.
yeah, like I
But
cannot get on a treadmill to save my
yeah.
life.
Like for example, my steps today, I'm probably already at like 13, 14,000. I average like 17 a week. Yesterday I had 20 because I was actually on my feet quite a bit. And I have
Mhm.
20, 25 minutes of very low pace, like level 3 incline, 3.2 speed, 5 times a week. Nothing crazy. Before that, I was doing the stairs twice a day. So to me, this is a very minimal amount of cardio. But all that is to be said. I would say your cardio output there is pretty low. Like I mean, for how lean you are, that's a lot. But like in general, you're not doing 3 hours of cardio a day.
No,
So do you
yeah,
think that the SLU has a big role to play in that, or?
I would I would say yes, but it's also increasing in androgens,
Mhm.
increasing in growth.
Yeah,
Like that could also be part of it. That could also be like the growth could also be why I'm still weighing the same. So there, I mean,
that yes.
there's always fact like there's other factors in it, but I mean,
Mhm.
I would say that it's definitely helping if that makes sense. Like
Yeah,
especially with all the cheating with foods that I've done. There hasn't been anything
yeah.
stupendously crazy, but
So do you think that that being said, do you think that it is affecting how your body processes the food? That it's not just an exercise mimic per se. That there's something going on with like insulin sensitivity and your actual digestion.
well, with mimicking exercise, you know, what exercise helps
Mm,
with glucose control and
yeah.
insulin sensitivity. So maybe it's not the flu itself doing it, but maybe the effects that's putting on the mimicking exercise is what is helping,
Mm,
is what I would imagine. It's still up in the air at this point. We have no really set data on any of this,
yeah.
but if I were to just think about it, that's how I'd go about it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's just. Hmm.
Yeah, I know. It's interesting.
It's weird. It's like because this is an entirely different pathway we got going on, and this kind of
Yeah.
goes into my next question.
It's not really one that we've really
Yeah.
like had or
The
thought
the
of.
the mitochondrial pathway.
Yeah.
So
It's still relatively new.
with that being said, the only downside you do hear, and this is typically like when people are combining MOTS-C, high dose SLU, methylene blue, stuff like that. You hear about people overspinning their mitochondria. Have you looked into that at all?
Yeah, I've heard about it, and I mean, I don't think there's any real studies out about it or
Hmm.
anything that I can find. I'm gonna do some more digging to it, but I've heard plenty of, a lot more smarter people than me starting to talk about it some. So that could definitely, like, I could understand and see how that could actually happen.
So how does that?
And
What does that look like? Because I'm completely ignorant to the process of what that would even look like. It just sounds bad to me.
yeah, so the idea is that the mitochondria, like you push the mitochondria so hard that it no longer can produce like the power that it used to, or completely
Mm.
die. Maybe I don't know if it would completely die off or something
Yeah.
like that, but maybe it would just stop working, and that would lead to less energy production. And I guess it's possible, but there's no real set data on it.
So then I wonder because we can kind of, for example, if we want to know what very, very, very high dose growth hormone side effects potentially could be, who are we going to look at? Acromegalax, people who have gigantism. I wonder if there is some type of disease that causes your mitochondrial to spin out.
I would imagine so. There's nothing that I've so far been taught in my career that sounds like that.
Yeah.
I would imagine that there is. Maybe it's not found yet
Mm.
because this hasn't really been studied before, I don't think.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Not people exogenously causing their mitochondria to spin out. I know there are
it,
like people will get thyroid storms, but I wonder if people get the same thing with their mitochondria. Because
yeah,
then we could potentially see like, okay, what are the triggers of that, right? So then maybe we could look to avoid it.
yeah. That I mean, I would imagine that there's probably something out
Yeah.
there that does that, but
Maybe only one
I'm
person has it though, so who
yeah,
knows?
maybe only. So it's like it's probably very rare
Oh yeah.
if we haven't found it or heard of it or noticed anybody like that. So yeah.
So it's definitely positive in terms of, either staying lean or getting leaner, stuff like that. How, do you notice it actually affect your gym performance, like in a positive way?
I wouldn't say any noticeable benefits. Like
Okay.
I've always like not had that kind of reaction to anything. Like I've taken Yohimbine and I
You're like
never noticed.
very, you're like very steady and stable.
I've
Okay.
always been steady. Like I've never noticed anything crazy, but I haven't done like clenbuterol or like any like Anadrol or anything. So
Yeah.
maybe I would something like that from it. But I've just always been just kind of like even caffeine. Like I take 200, 300 milligrams of caffeine. I'm just like, okay, let's work out.
I'm the
Like
same
I
way.
noticed that. I noticed that I'm a little bit more awake and alert, but like other than that,
It'll affect
it's not.
my, typically stimulants will affect my anxiety a little bit, but I don't really like feel wired. The only time that I have been wired from stimulants was this past mini cut. I think we went from, we started at 40 micrograms of clen, and I normally start at 20.
Oh yeah,
And then I think a week later we bumped it up to 80. That
yeah,
kicked,
yeah.
that kicked
Probably
me
good.
in, that kicked me in the teeth. I felt that.
Yeah, yeah. I bet I would feel something at that point, but yeah, I've never really felt much.
Okay, so it's not necessarily affecting your your gym performance positively. Do you think it's affecting it negatively at all, or no?
I wouldn't say it's
Okay,
negative. Like I'm still progressing at the rate that is expected with where androgens and everything is, and
okay.
how I usually increase in performance. So
So have you
yeah,
ever played around with thyroid hormone at all? T4 or T3?
no, not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never really dealt with it, but
Huh.
I would also want to get my labs done. But
Yeah. So it's funny because for me and like tiers of fat burners, I kind of like look at it like caffeine, yohimbine, clen, or actually thyroid and clen could be swapped around. And then I got SLU like all the way over here, just because we don't necessarily know what it does yet. So it's interesting because since I've done clen and T4, T3, things like that, when I started out on SLU, I could kind of compare it to things. To
mm,
me, 250 to 500, maybe even 600 of SLU kind of feels like in between T3 and T4. Because you don't
mm,
really feel T4, you definitely feel T3. It's kind of in the middle there. Because
mhm.
the only thing you may feel on T4 is like you run a little hotter, sweat a little more. With SLU, I definitely sweat a little bit more. I don't think I get a heart rate increase from it. Not that I know of. I don't get jittery at all. I actually did have to take it at night one time, and I slept perfectly fine.
Oh yeah, I take it right in the morning, lunchtime, and then right before I go to sleep.
Yeah.
So it's like
If it
I've never known.
was if it was stimulatory, you would know at that dose,
Yeah, but yeah, I mean everything that I've seen or heard, it's not simulatory at all.
which is
So
weird. It's
yeah, no,
weird.
it's weird. It's just like burns
It's
fat
super
or
weird. It's like for it's almost an ideal situation for you that you're literally feeling nothing from it but getting the results.
yeah, I know. That's what's crazy about it. Like I started thinking, I was like, okay, everything that's in bodybuilding has some sort of negative side effect
Yeah.
with the positives. But like this is just something that, maybe in 2 years we'll find out that it's doing something, but so far nothing. So I don't know. This is like one of the first things that has positive benefits and
That and Retta.
negative. Then
And,
Retta,
and
yeah.
you're doing them both. So, with that being said, that you don't necessarily feel it too much, What made you decide to do extra on, like, the different doses you have for different days? Because you have 200 on your leg days, and I think you said basically 150 for pretty much every other day, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
So
so what made you make that decision?
so it was just so my leg days are the highest in food.
Hmm.
So that's to account, and it's I wouldn't say it's lower in output because I would say that maybe legs definitely doesn't like catch up with the amount of steps, but I mean, like it's just a lower output day, but
I think I
it's
have a
higher.
good, yeah, I think I have a good way to explain that. So, for example, I don't do machine cardio on my leg days, but I still do my steps, obviously. My steps on a machine cardio day, let's just say I'm doing 25 minutes at a decent pace. Let's say it adds like 5,000 steps, something like that. So let's say on an upper body day, I'm doing like 20,000 steps. Then on a leg day, I'm doing 10, 12,000 steps. Probably more like 15. On the leg day, I typically drop weight and my food is the same.
Mhm.
On the days where I do have that other output, my weight kind of stays the same. So the leg day itself is enough to drive my weight down. So I could only imagine if I had that extra cardio, I'd be dropping weight like crazy.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So that's just why I kind of have it set up.
Hmm.
Um,
You kind of want to
so
flatten that curve.
yeah, I just kind of want to flatten it out, if
Okay.
that makes sense. And like on the days that I went on vacation, I also did 200 just to make up for the like I still definitely got my 15,000 steps in on all those days and stuff like that, but it's just
Mhm.
a lot more food than what I'm used to.
So do you notice with that? You said on those days you increased it to 200. Have you done that in a situation where like the variables are the same, so you can see what it does to your weight? Will you notice like a direct drop just from the increase, and about what you think that would be?
Uh, I wouldn't say like immediately, but I do definitely notice that the leanness is comparable to last check-ins or
Hmm.
better. So
Yeah.
I guess that's how I go about it.
So maybe I explained that poorly.
Mm.
When I'm taking two, mm, I'll just say one. If I'm taking 40 micrograms of Clen, I would say roughly that feels like it is making me burn off an extra 200, 300 calories. It's not exact, but
Oh,
just based off of like what trends and everything, I would assume it's about a 200 to 300 calorie difference it carves out with that dose. So like, do you notice that extra 50 milligrams, like this is knocking off 300 calories roughly? Of course, you're not going
uh,
to know exactly.
that's how I would get say about maybe three to even 500 maybe,
Okay,
which I don't know if it would reach 500. That's kind of a lot,
that's
but
a lot.
I mean it would definitely be
And I'm probably exaggerating with the 2 to 3 on Clen, just
yeah, yeah, no, I gotcha. But I mean, I would say anywhere. I wouldn't say anything below 300, but nothing super above 300.
and that's
Maybe
just that's just from one extra, so just
one
50.
extra. Yeah.
Hmm.
So
So
that's
you
what I
could
would get.
you could potentially. So how many tablets in a day is 200 particularly?
Four.
Four. So wow, you could potentially be making like a 8 to 12, maybe even like a 1,600 calorie difference.
Mhm.
That is insane.
That's crazy. And the highest that I've heard somebody go is 400. So it's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like
I've heard that too. I think that's the I think that's actually the dude who owns BioLongevity. I think that's who did
really,
that. It's either that or the Gorilla Chemist, and I think he works for that company.
yeah.
Something like that. But yeah, is there anything else like notable that you can think of as far as the SLU specifically?
That's about it for the SLU. Just better leanness. No negative side effects noticeable. Nothing with
Which is
sleep. Nothing with
crazy.
blood pressure. Nothing with heart rate. I haven't got my labs done, but in the next 2 weeks, I'm planning to. So I'll try to share that.
I mean,
But
on paper, it should make your labs better,
yeah, I know that's what.
which is the crazy part.
Yeah, I don't know. So we'll see. I mean, if everything's good or even better, I mean, shoot.
So the argument then becomes: do you come off of it, or do you even lower it at all?
Like, how long is a safe dosage? Like, I'll definitely come off of it, just like see. But
Yeah.
like, is this something that we could just inevitably take? And possibly just stay in a consistent like health healthy range.
With
So
like
I don't
250 to 500 micrograms, I can 100% see that. I don't really
know.
see a need to ever come off of that low of a dose.
Yeah.
My only concern with the super, super high dose would be that mitochondrial spin. Like
Mm.
maybe all it takes is, let's say maybe we don't know what specific process this is, but maybe each day you're on that much SLU, it's kind of like pulling a Jenga block out, and all it
Yeah.
takes is just that right one.
Yeah. When is it gonna crumble? So I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah. I mean, we don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it's one of those things that will be on for a little bit, come off, let our mitochondria like go back to baseline, and then get them ready to
Yeah.
powerhouse again. So that could also be possible.
Well, it
But
seems like they've already kind of. I don't think anybody has had the mitochondrial spin out happen for the most part, but it kind of seems like they're already thinking of ways to fix that if it does happen. Have you heard about what people are doing with SS31?
yeah, that's something that's newer to me that I haven't heard a lot about, but
Yeah.
it's something that I'm definitely gonna look into. But yeah, I haven't really heard much about it or read into it.
Yeah, all I know is every time I hear someone bring up the spin out topic is they typically will talk about using SS31 or whatever it's called to combat that,
Yeah, so
which
maybe
is just crazy.
yeah, I know. If we can add these two together and get amazing benefits,
Yeah,
the only thing that stops is cost.
I've even seen people combine SLU and BAM 15, which
That's what.
as far as I understand it, BAM 15 kind of seems like a milder, not quite as dangerous version of DMP.
That's what I've kind of seen, and I don't exactly trust it honestly yet,
Yeah,
or
same.
yeah, I don't think the positives are going to weigh out the benefits, but
No.
I might be wrong.
For me, I generally am someone who will basically try just about anything. I think I've taken everything except for DHB and DNP. I think
Mhm.
that's pretty much it. Maybe like some other exotic stuff, but to me, anything that can acutely kill you on a dose is rough. And
Yeah,
people, I'll say that, and then people be like, "Oh, insulin." I'm like, dude, you gotta be There's no other way to say it. You gotta be a retard to die on insulin, straight up. Like, if you accidentally inject 100 units of Humalog instead of 10, homie, you weren't long for this world. Something else
yeah,
was gonna take you out.
surprisingly, you're still here to
Yeah,
this point. So
that's just
yeah,
Darwinism at that point.
yeah, like if you don't do your research before doing insulin, you're just
Yeah,
stupid.
and
And if you can't do
yeah.
basic math, you're also stupid. So it's just like,
Yes, and even more so, I'm beginning to kind of come to the opinion that like Humalog and super fast insulin just isn't all that beneficial for bodybuilding.
that's what I've been hearing about and like seeing more about, because I'd start off using the faster
Same.
insulin. It's just like, I haven't used Lantus yet because I haven't had the need to, but
Yeah.
like maybe I'll just give it a shot and see how it goes. But that's what I've seen, that it's just like that's just better in general.
Lantus just seems to be better in general. I mean, you could argue maybe supporting the Lantus with some Humalog. Like for me, example, I wore the CGM for a while, so I have the data to look on. I know that my biggest spikes of the day are pre and post workout, so I could maybe opt for some pre or just post workout insulin directly there to combat that spike. But the rest of the day, Lantus is covering me. And in Retta
Mm.
too. Retta is also going to help manage that. And I really think with Retta plus Lantus, there's no need for Humalog for the most part.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna get into. It's
And I
just like
love I love Humalog, by the way. Saying all this, like in terms of a feeling,
oh yeah.
probably top three, top four favorite compounds there is, but it gets me fat. So,
Mhm.
which Lantus will too, but not as much, just because it's not as much of an acute action right then and there.
Yeah, and like in theory, you take more insulin in general if you just use Humalog.
Yes.
So it's just like, so yeah, that's what I noticed too when I was taking Humalog, is that like I gained more body fat quicker than what I expected.
Yeah, yeah, and Atlantis will make me gain some water, but I
Mm.
don't see the fat gain as much. It's mostly just water, and a lot of it's good water. A lot of it's water directly in the muscle cell.
Yeah, it's the kind that you want.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But man, there's something about those human log pumps. They're so good.
Oh,
I
oh
love
yeah,
I
it's
love pre-workout
amazing.
insulin. And
Yeah,
it
yeah.
takes me a lot to like have a workout messed up by blood sugar levels. Like I'll sit at 60 and feel normal.
Mhm.
So it's not like I'm someone who's going to go hypo in the middle of a workout and have it ruin my session. I think I've taken on and off over the course of the past, whew, let's see, it's 2025, 4 years. I think for the last 4 years I've done insulin on and off. And I don't think every time I've ever gone hypo, it's been not around a workout.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
just for no reason
only
to.
time I've gotten hypo was after the fact, but, like, within, like, let's say 25 minutes, I haven't eaten yet,
Yeah.
I'm top definitely going hypo.
Yeah, I have a funny hypo story. The first time and one of the last times that I ever went hypo, um, I don't remember what caused me to go hypo. I think I had just walked around too much after I had got done working out, or maybe I'd like, this is back when I was like 21, so I probably just had mistimed something. But, anyways, I start going hypo, and I didn't realize how fructose versus glucose is metabolized by the body. So fructose takes longer to hit you and spike blood sugar because your liver has to process it. So we had body armors at my gym at the time, which is all fructose. It's 100%
Yeah.
fructose. So I'm just sitting there chugging body armor after body armor, bro. Mind you, I probably wasn't taking more than 5 units of Humalog in a sitting, if even that. It might have been like three.
Nothing.
I probably had 700 grams of carbs just from body armors, and I'm sure I was probably eating Rice Krispies with it too or something.
Yeah.
It's funny how we go into that fight or flight and then just immediately freak out.
Yeah, and I was just like, "Oh, I'm dying."
Yeah,
It's just like
yeah, yeah. It's what it feels like, but
it's a weird feeling, yeah, it's not a good feeling, like, it feels like doom, like, it feels like doom, like,
when yes, yeah, impending doom, and it's like you almost just feel like your mind goes blank, and it like
and
you
you're just
almost
moving, like, you know
it's
yeah.
almost like just it's like that feeling. It's like white noise. Like you ever see a TV screen just go to that fuzzy static? That's what it's like. It's super
The
weird.
best way that I've been able to describe it is like if you've ever passed out or gotten close to it, it's like that,
Yeah.
but constantly. Like it's not like you're out. It's just like on the brink of passing out, but you're not passing out yet.
Yeah, and I used to pass out every single time I gave myself a TRT shot because these dumb doctors told me to do a 21 gauge, 1.5 inch silver needle into
Jesus.
the middle portion of my quad, not the top part towards your hip,
Jesus.
like almost
Yeah,
down towards the knee where all the nerves are. So
all the nerve.
I'd basically just make myself pass out from pain because I was instructed
Jeez.
poorly on how to administer medication. Because I've been on
Dude.
TRT since 20 because my test levels were like sub 200. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I used to pass out a lot. So I kind of eventually, I guess, I just taught myself how to not pass out because I've not passed out since that
I mean
phase.
you couldn't pass out every time you did it, so it's just
No,
like maybe
yeah,
yeah,
and
I mean,
it's like now when I go hypo and I get near that point of like almost passing out, like because like I said, I'll get to 60 and I'll feel okay. It's almost like I don't get that feeling of I'm gonna pass out anymore. I just kind of
mm,
feel a little off. I'm like, huh, all right, I'm gonna go eat. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't panic about it
Sounds
anymore.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wish. But yeah, the only time that I pass out or get close to it is when I um, give blood or anything.
yeah,
Like that's the only time. So
yeah. I can't give blood.
like,
Every time I do, I'm anemic for like 2 weeks.
really,
Even though my blood cells typically run on the thicker end, except for this last
Uh,
time. This last time I got blood work, they were actually in range for the first time in my life. Yeah,
congratulations.
yeah. I think one of them was like elevated by like 0.10. Whichever the ones, it's like 5.7 is normal or something, and it was like 5.72 or something. It was
Mhm.
basically in range, and I attribute that to the Retta and the SLU, honestly,
Oh, definitely.
because that's the only
Yeah,
thing that changed.
yeah, yeah. That's what I've seen. It's just like a lot of benefits.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the only thing really, I don't know. It's stuck between a rock and a hard place, right? Because
Mm,
I've done anywhere from 250 to 600 micrograms of SLU, and it works. So it's like, why would I want to go up? Yeah,
yeah,
but it's like more is more. More does do more.
more does Yeah, that I mean that's what we're seeing, and it's interesting. Like with this, we might be wrong, but I don't know.
Yeah, because like if you're saying you notice like a and of course these are not real numbers, like a 300 calorie difference from 50 milligrams or whatever it is, I can tell you on 500 micrograms, it's probably like 100 to 150, something like that. It's enough to notice, but just barely.
Yeah,
It's
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 just bad.
definitely it's definitely at least 50 calories per 250 micrograms, something like that. And then you, of course, taking that with fasted cardio is going to make it more effective because on a fasted state, you're going to, enter that lipolytic
Right.
state. Which, speaking of fasted cardio, I know you don't do machine cardio. Do you do like a fasted walk in the morning still?
So I do that with my job.
Oh, okay.
so so I don't eat before I go into work because I wake up at 4 and get to work at
Oof.
5.
Oh yeah.
So and then I teach 2 fitness classes. So the whole time I'm, jumping around and moving around. And I get to I get to work 30 minutes early because I open and get the sound system set up, but then I'll also start doing laps before my classes.
Hmm.
So that's how I kind of count it. So it's like 2 hours that I'm fasted, and then
Nice.
I get to go home and eat. So,
I think you'd be a good candidate then for. I'm assuming you do all your growth hormone before bed, right?
mm,
I think you'd actually be a good candidate for splitting it up.
that's what I've been thinking about. I thought about trying that, and that might be something that I
I'd
do.
try it, man. And I think 4 units is actually clinically like what they show the max for lipolysis benefits. So you could do
Mhm.
4 and 4, and the reason I say you're a candidate for it is because for most of us, like for me example, I wake up and I'm doing my fasted cardio within 30 minutes. I have a treadmill at my house. It may even be less than 30 minutes sometimes. But for you, you've got such, and basically the peak time for growth hormone is, I believe, like 2 hours, something like
3 hours.
that. Yeah. So for you, you could do it and you'd be good. You'd actually get those direct lipolytic benefits.
That's what I was thinking because I've read into that and saw that, and I was like, maybe it's something I could experiment with and see what's up.
Yeah.
But yeah, that might be something I do in the future. But I
I'm
don't think I'll.
considering it. I'm considering myself honestly for prep because what's the reason that we want to or we don't want to split up growth hormone? Well, reason one in an off-season context, we would assume, and what we do know, we know that doing a bolus dose is going to create a greater peak IGF level. So that's going to be the main benefit for doing it all before bed in off season. But also a secondary benefit, the main reason that I do it all before bed is because it's going to be the furthest away from food, which is going to result in the least amount of insulin resistance. But in a prep scenario, we're not insulin resistant. We're becoming more insulin sensitive by the day. 4 units of growth hormone fasted in the morning is not going to attribute to your blood sugar going up at all. Your blood sugar is going to go down regardless. And you're in a deficit. You're burning through it. So at that point, then the actual, because I don't remember the exact process through which growth hormone induces direct fat loss, but I believe it frees up fatty acids in the blood in a fasted state, and you can then burn them through activity. So I would assume in a contest prep, like 4 and 4 instead of just 8, could be the way to go.
Yeah, maybe that's something that if I still am waking up this early and kind of doing the same kind of thing, maybe next cut I'll probably give it a shot, but
Yeah,
we'll see.
yeah, and then obviously for the people that are just animals and they're doing like 20 units a day, I feel like they have to split it up because how in God's name are you handling
I could
20?
not imagine. I mean, how many syringes would that be?
Well, you could if I'm not mistaken, let's say you get a 24 IU bottle.
Yeah,
Couldn't you just reconstitute that with like 1 milliliter?
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't do that. I always do 1 to 1. So like if it's 24, I'll do 2.4, something like that.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, we're
yeah. It's just
yeah we're kind of at opposite ends of the spectrum here on what we're doing for bodybuilding. I'm about to be like pushing harder than ever for growth, and are you just going to continue to get more and more dice just until you're inside out like just see through?
no. I'm pretty much done with it. I think I'm
Okay,
at a good spot to start building
you're in a
more.
very good
So
spot to build more.
yeah, so I'm gonna start increasing dosages.
Okay.
That's why I'm getting the blood work done in a week or two. Is just to make sure I'm in a good spot to start pushing up.
I would imagine if you are gonna lower the SLU, I would imagine you would need to titrate off, right? Like
That's what I'm planning on doing.
I wouldn't want to just come off of that. That
No,
seems.
yeah, no, the straight coming off. It's definitely not like I'll just down it by 50 over the course of a week or two or three,
Oh
and
yeah, that's good.
so
I like doing that even with my Clen, my T3, everything. I don't think
I
it's a
think
good idea to have these things that are boosting our metabolism up and then just drop them. That's just a
yeah,
recipe of
I feel
putting
like
on a
a
bunch of
crash,
body fat.
but
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
And even if it doesn't mess anything up hormonally, I would say still you just don't want to go through, let's say all these drugs together are creating a 500 calorie deficit further than what you would have. You don't want to just remove that. That's going to
Mm.
suck. You don't want to have to deal with that. And I don't think it's going to hurt your health to stay on an extra 2 or 3 weeks at a deteriorating dose.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I just think full stopping anything is a bad idea. Like, of course, you run out of things, and that
Yeah.
sucks. But like if you can absolutely not,
In an ideal world.
yeah, in an ideal world, titrate it,
Yeah.
especially up and down. Do it the same for going up in doses. Just titrate it. Like even if in the last cycle you're doing like 800 tests and you dropped it down to like 250 during a health phase or cruise,
Yeah.
like definitely don't immediately go up to 800.
No, there's just no need for it either because like you can still make these little squeezes of progress.
Mhm.
It's like you have a dip. So let's say you were up here, now you're down here. You don't need to immediately go back up here. You're at here, so you can get a progress all the way up, and then you can take it further than where you've been before, if you need to.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
honestly looking like for me, like I don't know. We're only 5 weeks in, but I'm gaining weight pretty much every week. Last week was the first week that I didn't gain any weight. We upped food a decent little bit, added in some Lantus on certain days, trained up training a little bit. It
mm,
seems like my doses probably aren't gonna need to go that high as I thought they were. Like I was here all hyped up, man. I was like, all right, I'm gonna do 3 grams this offseason. I'm gonna push harder than I've ever
yeah,
pushed. I'm gonna do a gram of test, a gram of EQ, a gram of MPP, or some stupid shit like that. I don't know. Probably more like a gram and a half a test, a gram of EQ, like 500 MPP, something like that. But
I mean
I'm at a
that's
gram
all.
of test and a half a gram of EQ basically, and I'm growing every week. There's really no reason to increase.
Yeah, I mean I think that's more ideal than trying to push it.
Yeah.
Like if you're like it's just like it's all our dreams to be like, yeah, I'm taking 4 grams, but like
Well, I mean, and at the same time too, though, it's like if I don't need it, I don't need to waste the money.
yeah, exactly. I mean, you're saving
Yeah.
money, you're getting good benefits with not as many negative side effects. I mean, like you're good.
Yeah,
You-
yeah, but we all have that FOMO, that fear of missing out, and it's like, well, could I get more out of more?
yeah.
Probably, but are those benefits like? And I also, for one thing, I know my blood work is going to be good on this because my blood work was perfect after 40 weeks of doing more than this
Mhm.
and taking less care of my health and being in a extreme contest prep. So if I had to bet money on it, I would assume my blood work's probably even better than the last time I got it checked.
Yeah.
One would hope
So
after 40
yeah, one would
weeks,
hope. Yeah, I
which
mean,
it was all good. So.
mhm. Yeah, I mean that's the ideal spot. So
Yeah, yeah. It's just growing and maturing, not only as a bodybuilder, but as a man too. You kind of start to move towards that direction of like, okay, I'm making progress. I don't need to be reckless if I don't have to. There's no reason. So,
I
and
mean,
and I'd
yeah.
argue honestly, I don't really think there's a dose of test and EQ that you can even take that would hurt you. I got a visitor. Hey, buddy.
Oh, oh my goodness.
That door
Oh
wasn't
my.
shut very well. But,
Uh,
but
what kind of
yeah.
dog?
Oh God, he's a mutt. He's
Yeah, I was about to say that's some kind of mutt.
yeah, he's a part pit, part lab, part boxer. That's what we think. Who knows?
They usually make the best dogs, just some random mutt.
He's
Maybe not.
let's
Never
just
mind.
say he's bit me here, all over here. Like, he's bit me all over the place.
Jeez.
He's a little ball of
Yeah.
shit, is
I've
what he
had the
is.
opposite experience from mutts.
And then my other dog is a purebred Aussie. It's the sweetest little thing in the world. And I've raised
No,
them
yeah.
both the same way, so I know it's not my fault. But yeah,
It's not me.
we're at about an hour here. I think this is a good spot to wrap it. Unless you
That
got
sounds good.
anything else you want to talk about.
No, I think we've covered mainly everything, especially the main topic of SLU.
Yeah.
So
You ever watch that show on the Think Big Bodybuilding Network, Drugs and Stuff? You ever
Yeah.
seen that one? That's what this episode is like. This is like a
Yeah,
completely
no,
drug episode.
this is a complete straight off the bat, just drug episode.
Yeah, but it's like, I mean, come on, the elephant in the room, man. I can't not
yeah, I know,
address 100.
it's like, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting though, because like that's not really how a lot of my videos typically go. So this will be an interesting
Definitely a
pickup.
different switch up. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Maybe we'll get a 150. We'll get, since you do 150 milligrams, maybe we'll get 150 views on this one.
Yeah, no, like this is the one that actually pops off.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my best to like completely algorithm this thing out too. I'm gonna put like something catchy.
Clips and
Yeah,
shorts.
like a mega dose slew or something like that. I don't know.
In all caps, mega dose.
Yeah. Well, actually, I always title in all caps because for whatever reason, everywhere you can look up says that that specifically is good for the algorithm.
Works.
I don't know why. I guess maybe most people that are searching for things typically type in all caps, which is weird.
Yeah, no. Yeah, but yeah, definitely, hopefully, but yeah, this is definitely a think bodybuilding
Yeah.
podcast kind of.
I know.
Talk.
I know for
You need at least one of those every once in a while.
oh yeah. I know I for one definitely enjoyed talking about all this because it's like I've said it before. It's uncharted waters. It's super interesting.
Yeah.
It's
So,
super
I mean,
interesting,
we'll
and
see.
I'm gonna be interested too to see how you kind of transition this whole thing into an off season. I think the last thing we could go over is: are there any? Because you mentioned potentially EQ or NPP. Are there any peptides that you're looking to implement in the off season or the growth phase?
Nothing that I'm not taking currently. Like,
Okay,
of course, I'll
nothing
keep
new.
Reddit. Yeah, I'm keeping MT2 in just so I keep my tan during the winter,
Yeah.
and then yeah,
Does MT2 not make you feel bad? It makes me feel awful.
I feel nothing.
I
I
get
just
I get
get
really bad flushing and nausea from it, even at a
yeah.
low dose.
My grandmother asked me why I'm turning brown, so I mean, I
Dude,
guess it's doing something.
the first time I ever took MT2, I swear I'm not kidding. I had 4 or 5 different people like talk to me in a way that they assumed I was mixed. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, my boss asked me why I'm starting to look Mexican, so it's like,
Yeah. Well, I was bald and like I was a lot fatter, so like everything was swollen up on me. So it's like I was just big, puffy, and like really dark.
yeah. So it's funny, but
Yeah. Yeah, well, this was fun, man. I'll
yeah,
definitely have you back on. We need to do another one of the like enormous episodes where you have like four
enormous.
or five people on.
Yeah, we definitely need to set that up.
For
So
that one, I would like to do questions because that would be really good where we could get like even just 2 or 3 questions with 4 or 5 people on. That would take up an hour minimum.
yeah, being able to explain our thought processes on everything, and hopefully learn something new or
Yeah,
correct.
yeah, we gotta get some
So
controversy going too. We gotta get someone to disagree.
hopefully the same, which it kind of seems like it, but maybe
Yeah,
not.
yeah. No, I mean, I haven't. Have I heard anybody say anything on here that I've ever disagreed with? I don't think so.
Not
I don't.
fully.
I don't think I've heard anybody say anything in regards to training, diet, supplementation, anything. Because nobody that I've had on is a safer use guy. I think literally every single person that I've had on, agrees that test is their highest compound. Everybody agrees growth hormone is basically as much as you can tolerate. Yeah, I think we're all pretty in agreements. And success leaves clues. Things that work for a reason, and they're typically pretty observable.
Mhm. Yeah. So I mean, that's the gist of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, thank you for having me on. Like
Yeah,
I love
anytime, man.
this, and yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime. We'll definitely look to have you back on, especially once you get rolling into your growth phase. I'm going to be interested to see if you went with the EQ or the MPP and how that's all going.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah,
this is
just
this has
got
been
an
a
update.
yeah, this has been another episode of the Iron Obsession podcast. Thank you guys for watching.